Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday night, which means one thing and one thing only. It's the Tuesday night fantasy cheat sheet presented by Going for Two Live. Big week, trade deadline, injuries. But before we talk about any of it, we got to hit that button.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Like I said, it is Tuesday night, the best night for the four of us to BS and be here to talk about football. Let's throw it around the horn real quick and we'll get right into the show. Jamie, what is up?
Yeah, let's just get this party started, man. No breaks, all gas. We're going full throttle today. Let's get it.
Oh, no.
How's
Jordan?
it going? Back again, ready to talk some football. Got to talk about a legend early on in the show, so I'm looking forward to it.
Roll.
I really like that be here and BS line. I might have to start sneaking that into whenever I can. But yeah, gentlemen, great to be back. Over 50% of the fantasy season is done. All your leagues are kind of have taken shape, shall we say. You kind of know exactly what you need to do in the next couple of weeks. You're looking at your opponent's lineups just that ever bit closer. But another great episode here tonight, so I'm ready to get into it.
All right, well, usually I let Jamie have the first lead when it comes to the first person to talk about news, but I'm sorry. Jamie, you're not first on this one. And Jordan, I'm even more sorry. The biggest piece of injury news this week, Tucker Kraft, tight end, Green Bay Packers, torn ACL. Jordan, I'm just letting you have the floor.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I was telling Raul and Jamie before we started the show how that was a blow, not only in fantasy, but just in real football as well. Obviously, one of the top weapons on the team. But, I think it's with Matthew Golden also getting banged up, I feel like it leaves opportunities for a Luke Musgrave to kind of step into that. I thought about Reggie whenever I saw the the injury news and how he was high on Luke Musgrave over Kraft, so he's going to get another chance. But yeah, it's just a tough. ACLs have become common, so I think he's going to be fine as far as next year's recovery and everything. But but yeah, it's just a tough blow because he was having a great season, top 5 tight end. So it's just tough to see that.
Roll.
Yeah, hopefully a speedy and incident-free recovery for Tucker Kraft. I don't know if any of y'all caught Romeo Dobbs talking about Kraft getting injured. Y'all, I gotta share this clip, but he was talking as if like Kraft had died and literally quote he's in a better place now. And he was like, "This interview is over, man." Yeah, y'all gotta see this. But yeah, huge blow this season. Should come back fine, but definitely for fantasy managers who were feeling like they had a difference-making asset at that position, that's a massive blow. So, prayers up, but just one of those things that happens in this game we love, question mark.
All right, Jamie, so I got to throw a question at you at the same time. Does this mean there's a possibility that at some point the rest of this season it will be Jordan Reed Reed season?
Probably not. I'm thinking more like Luke Musgrave can get a little bit more work. And I also heard that Michael Mayer might be looking to go to the Packers.
The deadline's gone, so we can't.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, never mind on that. But yeah, so Musgrave, I guess it is.
Yeah,
I could see Savion Williams, another guy that I might want to keep an eye out, just because like Tucker Kraft was like almost in that Kittle build, that kind of yak machine, right? Like he's so good at converting like short area targets for long gains, and like that's not what Dobbs does. That's not what Watson does. Like Reed maybe could do that when he comes back, and like Musgrave, you want to think tight end, but Savion Williams almost like that yak guy. So I'd be curious to see if he gets mixed in a little bit. Interesting prospect. Our friend Kyle Senra does not like Savion Williams, but he certainly has some explosion to him. So that's an interesting name to keep out on, but still
Yeah.
probably far away from our waiver wires and redraft.
And why in the heck did I say Jordan Reed? I don't know. I was on the
We know
mind of
what you
tight
meant.
ends, but
We know
Jaden
it.
Reed.
Yeah, we know.
All right. Speaking of Jordan Reed, who used to play for the team in Washington, D.C., the other big injury, Jaden Daniels, dislocated elbow. Big one. That means Mariota is going to be starting for the foreseeable future. This team lost last week to Seattle. We'll get into Seattle more later. So the team's on the downward trend. On another show, I did say that they could have some pickups this year. Jamie, what does this do? Just give your overall thoughts,
I
man.
mean, doesn't this give you like that RG3 vibe?
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, because I saw something that both injuries happened on the same yard line, on the same stadium, and it's just insane to me. And then like
Same
years,
opponent. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, same opponent too.
Same opponent? Oh,
Yes.
God. Yeah.
And I don't know if the score was the same or not, but
No.
that's just crazy.
No.
And it's just going to hurt the whole team because Jaden Daniels, he ran that offense. And without him, I'm not looking forward to anybody in that offense.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's a blow. I do think, depending on the matchup, Mariota still has some fantasy value. I don't know if it's going to be this upcoming week per se, but I think he's going to have opportunities. He's shown in previous starts that he can provide fantasy value. They just need the weapons to be healthy around him. There was rarely a sighting where the quarterback and the two weapons were healthy, and that's still not going to be the case.
Mhm.
McLaurin has been banged up. Debo is banged up. Now Daniels is hurt. So if they can get healthy, I think Mariota could be decent with them as far as their season and hopes of repeating, making it to the NFC Championship game like they did last year. That's over with. But as far as for fantasy purposes, I think they could still salvage some of our seasons if they're healthy. I think Mariota could provide some value for those guys.
Roll, do you have any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think the guy said it all. But like Kraft, that's another like difference-making asset at the position. I'm sure some managers lost even both, so both just like huge blows. And I don't know if we have a timeline yet, but I can't imagine that. Really, I'd be shocked if Daniels comes back this season.
I think they should shut him down. Luckily, for his sake, and just in general, it was his left arm, not his throwing arm, so that could help. But if they say it's week 13, 14, and then they're not even close to being in the picture, there's no reason to rush him. Sit him down. And that. All right, so we do have a new segment to the show for 1 week and 1 week only. And that is because Jamie didn't realize it was the day, the trade deadline wrap up. All right. So obviously there's been some trades that are not fantasy relevant. Logan Wilson went to the Cowboys. Quinnen Williams went to the Cowboys from the Jets. There's one defensive trade that I'll bring up in a second, but we're only going to talk about the couple that have fantasy value to it. So first off, I'll bring up the trade and then we'll just go around the horn and see what everyone says real quick. Jamie, we're going to start off with you because me and you have liked this wide receiver room for about 4 years. We've talked about it nonstop. But Jacoby Myers is now a Jacksonville Jaguar. De'Ami Brown's hurt, dinged up. Don't get me started on Brian Thomas Jr. I'm still upset. Travis Hunter is on the IR. So they bring in Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. What do you think, Senor?
I think this is a good move. Travis Hunter going on IR, that was a surprise. I didn't expect that to happen. And Brian Thomas, man, he looks like he's hobbling around on that field. So they need someone besides Parker Washington. And I think Myers is that guy that can be fantasy relevant right away.
Jordan?
Yeah, I feel like he kind of fits like a Christian Kirkish type of profile, possession guy, possession guy that Trevor Lawrence can rely on. Like Jamie said, Brian Thomas being banged up. I was really high on picking up Parker Washington and waivers. This kind of tempers that a little bit, although I still think there will be enough for both of them to be decent. Especially, I think it'll take some time for Myers to kind of get up. So I would still play Washington this week. But yeah, I think it was a good move for the Jaguars in real football as well. Just getting another weapon, a guy who can separate and get open, and he can actually catch the ball. So, uh, yeah, like I said, dampers my hype for Parker Washington, but I still think it's he can be fantasy relevant as well.
Bro.
Yeah, I think the guy said it all. Like, probably goes into like wide receiver 3 flex value. Like, I'm definitely curious to see. Like, we know Hunter's gonna miss probably more than his IR period. So, like, let's even just say 6 weeks. I wonder how long Brian Thomas is gonna be out. There's some talk of high ankle sprain. Some talk he might play immediately. So let's Wednesday is always the day we start get this news in. So let's wait on that one.
So I mean, we've all Jamie in the big league. Is it time for me to just give up on him?
I want to say no, but I think we're at that verge right now. Because I think I said it last week. We needed to wait, but
I think this is it.
I think it is it.
All right, so I did see one. Laquan Jones, LQ, works for NFL Network. He put out a stat today on his TikTok when the trade news came out, and I did find this interesting. Since 2019, the only person in the league that has a less drop percentage than Jacoby Myers is ARSB. So they're saying, like, you brought up Jordan, a possession guy. I know you brought up Kirk, and I know I gave you the look, but that just proves like this is the kind of possession guy that Lawrence might need. So for that, it is a good move, and get him out of Vegas. I mean, that's just a wasteland of the wide receiver room. So another one that I will bring up. There is more about this team later, so we'll just go quickly about it. Just what you think about this player going there. Rashid Shaheed traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Jordan, take it away.
You know, this is another trade that dampened my hype for a player that was already on the team. Torrey Horton balled out in Cooper Kupp's absence Sunday night, and I anticipated him kind of usurping Kupp eventually by the end of the season for that number 2 target. Shaheed being there doesn't necessarily step into that role because obviously he's more of a deep threat and whatnot, but just having an extra weapon, a guy who can get open with that speed, feel like it's going to be annoying. I think it's real good for Sam Darnold, for people who may have wanted to hold on to him, and this may put him where you don't have to worry about matchups with him. When he has enough weapons, he has a guy that can stretch the field, even though JSN was doing a good job of that as well. But now he can kind of move around a little bit more. You have the other weapons. So I like this for Sam Darnold overall. And Shaheed, you talked about Vegas being a wasteland. New Orleans was definitely a wasteland. So he's gotten out of there, a fresh start for him. So I think it's good. It's good for him and good for Sam Darnold as well.
Rahul?
Yeah. Again, also a great NFL move. I think it fits that scheme very well. Quinn Kubiak, current OC of the Seahawks, just worked with Shaheed over in New Orleans. So I think it's going to be a great fit. Probably Shaheed, then Horton. Like, Shaheed jumps Horton into like the fantasy rankings. Both probably still better in best ball plays. I'm curious, like Jordan alluded to, like, does it change how JSN is used, because he's been just exploding on those big, deep routes and winning with acres of space. And I don't want to take that away from him. I'm sure he's still going to be the alpha wide receiver, but a move that I like on the outset, but maybe not the fantasy implications of.
Jamie, do you have any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I think this hurts Shaheed's fantasy value. He's going from a bad team that gave him targets to a good team that he's probably not going to get many targets. I think he was seeing like over 7 targets a game.
Yep.
Almost 20%. I don't think he even gets 10% in this. So maybe like 3-4 a game, if that.
So this is what I think. and I'm going to talk about Seattle later. But here's the key thing. I think this trade means one big thing, and I'm glad no one brought it up. Jordan, you said that you think that he is going to end up Horton usurping Cup. I think this trade was made because I think Seattle thinks that there's more to the Cup injury than we know. If Cup was healthy, I don't think they make this move. And so I think that there might be more to the injury itself than just that. All right, so there is one more giant trade that we have to discuss because it's a biggie. But there's a biggie for a small other reason. And I know Jamie already knows where I'm going with this one. So Sauce Gardner gets traded to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round pick and one of Jamie's favorites last year, A.D. Mitchell. Jamie, I usually go to Roll for this one because he's next in line, but I just have to give it to you first. Does this help A.D. Mitchell going to the Jets?
I mean, he's probably the number 2 on his team now.
Exactly.
On the Jets, but like, how much targets is he going to get? That's the thing. So I don't trust him for fantasy whatsoever because I've tried plugging in the Jets' second receiver on like bye weeks and stuff, and it just doesn't work out.
I tried plugging in their first receiver and it doesn't work out.
So, but I do love it for the Colts though.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, Roll. Go ahead, sir.
You know, I'm sure all you guys get those notifications from Sleeper that like pop up periodically, like breaking news, like so these trades are coming in. And I saw the Jacoby Myers trade come in, and then next notification was wide receiver A.D. Mitchell trade with the Jets. I'm like, what an irrelevant piece of news. And then I keep reading. It's like, as part of Sauce Gardner traded to the Colts. I mean, we don't need to get into the implications of that one, but blockbuster, right? Like, it was a crazy trade deadline day overall. And we'll certainly talk about the Jets and their teardown a little bit later in the show. But A.D. Mitchell wise, like, seems like the guy probably has, like, I don't want to call it attitude issues, but there's some like character development that he probably needs to do to even like become like a regular NFL player. And going to the Jets organization is not one that I'm confident will, solve those kinds of issues. But theoretically, the opportunity is there. Largely irrelevant to fantasy football.
Jordan.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. It's one of those things where it's a good, I guess, opportunity since he was like the 4th or 5th receiver at times in Indianapolis. So this Jets team, as we know, is going to be losing a lot, going to have to throw. So maybe he gets more opportunities that way. And they sold everybody on their defense. So it's going to be like the Dallas Cowboys defense was before this trade deadline. So just giving up a bunch of points, so they're going to have to throw to stay in it. Maybe he gets opportunity that way.
All right. So it is time to get into Monday Night Football takeaways. 27-17, Dallas Cowboys lose at home to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Jordan, I'm a little upset because somebody – no, because I got to give you a little behind the scenes here.
Okay.
Jamie, I think you took what I said yesterday a little too personal. Because I was just bringing up, like, really? We have to do this again? Not giving you crap like you're not allowed to talk about them. It wasn't like you can't bring up you know who. I was like, really? Again when I saw it? He messaged, I go, really? Again? And I said the name, and he's like, well, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Okay. On the news, I was going to put that he was also what was said today. I was going to bring that up. But I am not, because I am letting you, I am being nice. I am letting you announce the other part of news. And then you can talk about the legend himself. Take it away.
Okay, so the news part, you're probably talking about Kyler Murray.
Yes.
Probably not going to be playing anytime soon. So with the Monday night takeaway, we can't talk about Monday night without bringing up the MVP of the game.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes. Yes.
I was thinking about the guy that was throwing him the ball,
Okay.
Jacoby Brissett, because the Cowboys, they didn't lose this game. Jacoby Brissett won it, hands down. So the Cardinals, Mike said it, they won 27-17. Brissett, he had 21 completions, 30 out of 31 for 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, and even a rushing touchdown, 0 turnovers. Like the Cardinals, they jumped out early 10-0. That 40-yard bomb to Marvin Harrison Jr., that was awesome. And then the second quarter, he had that QB sneak, right? So 17-7, and that 50-yard bomb to, what's his name? Michael Wilson. Then that led to the 12-yard touchdown to McBride. So, like, Brissett is now 2-1 as a starter this year. 860 yards, 0 interceptions in 3 games. So let's talk about that quarterback controversy. Does Kyler Murray automatically get the job back when he comes back? I don't know how they can actually take Jacoby Brissett off this field the way he's playing. Like Brissett, he's not saying much, but like his play is doing it all.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
This was the only game he's won. So how can you say it's done everything for the team?
Well, 0 interceptions, no turnovers, right? And
Isn't W's what wins games?
And didn't he win another one? I could have
No,
sworn
they've
he
lost
won another
5
one.
straight.
Okay.
They lost 5 straight by 13 total points.
But he's doing everything he can.
No, I get that, but
Yeah.
all I'm saying is until he wins a couple more games, I don't think it's out of the picture that Kyler could come back. Do I think they're going to give him the chance to do it? Absolutely. But is it an absolute lock that Kyler's not going to play? I do think there's more of a future talk about Kyler after the season more now than ever before. Would you two in the bottom agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I mean, like the 860 yards, 6 touchdowns, and only 1 interception in those games that he played. So like McBride, he has 4 touchdowns with the set, right?
Okay.
So my takeaway right now is that the Cardinals, if they want to win, they need to start Jacoby Brissett, and I think that's what they're going to keep doing. I think he's
Jordan.
the real deal.
Jordan, I am letting you chime in here.
So as much as I want to hate and make jokes and everything, he's right. Like,
no, he is right.
If it was you, this is like a prime example of like how you invest so much in one player that you do whatever you can to make sure that you don't give up on him. I get if it was just based on how Brissett is playing, he should have just been named the starter for indefinitely because he's been head and shoulders better than Kyler this whole season at any point. But they had to preface it with, his injury is longer than whatever. I feel like he was practicing. He was probably getting closer, even if he was healthy. They just wanted Brissett to start because he's just been better, but they can't say that. Yeah. So, I just think it's one of those things. He deserves to to play until someone figures him out or he starts to play bad. Like, I just feel like Kyler has had opportunity after opportunity. We thought it was going to happen last year with Marvin Harrison. It never happened. We thought it was going to be at the beginning of this year. It didn't happen. I don't know if it's going to ever happen with the Cardinals per se. So if they want to win, they should just give the old guy a chance to flame out. If he doesn't, then ride the wave.
Yeah, my only point is say we're going into week 10. Say they give him 4 more games and the team's only wins 1 more of those games, 5 more, and they only win 1 more. Not because of him. He's been doing good. Don't get me wrong, Jamie. But just say the team doesn't do good, whatever they lose. I could see them bringing Kyler back in just to see what they got for the future. And if he doesn't do like I could see the problem is Cardinals have not been an organization to not screw it up in the past.
This is true, but it's like you know what you have. There's nothing else to see. A guy who can't see over the line and
I agree. I
that's
really
it.
don't think that Gannon thinks he knows what he's got.
I
agree with you.
It's been 6 years. How do you not know what you have out of the 101 pick?
I guess the thing about like when Brissett started, I was like at the conclusion though that like, hey, like Brissett is clearly way better at running the offense that Drew Petzing wants to run under center, much better. Like inarguably like the raw passing yards, but attacking the middle of the field has been so much better with Jacoby Brissett than Kyler, who's been near league worst at attacking deep, attacking middle of the field, under pressure, converting third and longs. Like Kyler's like bottom of the league at all those stats. But I just kept going back to like, clearly like Kyler Murray has a huge contract. There's not really a clean out for the Cardinals until 2028. Are they going to go with the money and like someone was saying, the investment in the player of Kyler Murray, or are they going to stick with the coach and the offensive coordinator that have been here for 3 years with like lackluster results? And for me, the obvious conclusion seemed they'll still go with the quarterback. That's the less costly option for them than changing over a coaching staff without much. But the fact, like, I don't think Kyler Murray can come back into the starting lineup after this. Like, how injured is he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, does Gannon know? I don't know. But it's like we're kind of in like that phase where you got to like pick the quarterback or the coaching staff. So it is a real surprise to me that they've gone in this route, and it might have to do with Brissett's connection with the younger piece of the team, who we'll certainly get onto. But it's an interesting situation. I didn't expect it to play out this way.
And the one more thing that I'll bring up, and I heard this from a couple different people, is the owner Michael Bidwell loves Kyler. So this could be. I'm just saying it could be a bigger and like the investment part. But let's go to the other side of the ball real quick because there's a lot to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Jordan, will you take it away with your part?
Yeah, I'm gonna just be brief on this. After last week's game, a disastrous offensive performance against a good defense in the Broncos. You know, Jake Ferguson put up a dud. I know there were a lot of people concerned about what the target share would look like, what those things would look like for Pickens. Like CeeDee Lamb came back, and that kind of like, you know, we wanted to all see what it would look like because the pecking order did the pecking order shift or whatever. And I think that this kind of last night kind of stabilized what I thought it would be. I mean, it's centered around three guys: Lamb, Pickens, and Ferguson, in that order. And it kind of showed itself like that. Ferguson had double-digit PPR points with a fumble, would have had more. Pickens and Lamb didn't score, but they got enough targets. They had yardage for decent games, things that you're not drafted them for, but in a bad game you can live with. So I don't have any worries about the past game. They need to be more effective than they've been the last 2 weeks, and I think this bye comes at a good time for them to kind of figure some stuff out, get ready to attack the second half of the season. And it looks like with the moves they made on defense, they're trying to go all in to win. So maybe so they'll be playing for something, which is good for us as fantasy managers, having a team that's gonna care down the stretch. So I'm not worried about the passing game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Raul, we talked way too much about the legend himself, and I'm gonna say his name because you put it on the show sheet this way. Jacoby Brisket. Okay. So we talked too much about Jacoby Brisket. So why don't you talk about the young wide receiver whose dad had a couple headlines this week?
Yeah, MHJ breakout game. He went 7 catches on 10 targets, 96 yards, and 1 touchdown. His best fantasy game of the season, best fantasy game since week 8 of last season. I think Marvin Pops was certainly hungry for more fantasy points, and luckily we got a big old serving of brisket over in Texas last last night. But hey, seriously, guys, like maybe the primetime effect of it might not actually have been his best game, but it really felt like a game that Marv arrived onto the scene. Only his second game of the season with 10 targets. The other one against the Seahawks was in major catch-up mode. They were down like I want to say even 3 scores, certainly 2 scores going into the fourth quarter. Marv makes some big catches in that game, like a very emotional touchdown reception. This time, the game plan was early and often, deep throws. I think his first like 3 or 4 catches were all on third downs, were like critical points. Filthy goal line route. I really love CeeDee Lamb's reaction to watching that on the big screen. Just showed like it's not been about skill for this guy. Like there have been some flaws with his hands, his play speed, but like we talked about with Jacoby Brissett, Brissett is much better at targeting the middle of the field, getting the ball to his playmakers, and with the news that we got today, it has to be wheels up for Marvin Harrison Jr. It is funny the timing of MHS's comments and how they got, and I wonder if it's like let's just get this boy like a couple of layups early on, but it was a really great performance. He looked excellent out there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Jamie, I'm going to bring this up after I go. So my takeaway, I had a couple different ones that I had lined up depending where you guys went with your discussions. I'm going about the Arizona defense because yes, the Dallas Cowboys did struggle a little bit, but when I realized that it was Walter Nolan's first game as an Arizona Cardinal after being a top, a highly touted guy coming out of college from Ole Miss. Had a sack, had a couple run stuffs, but here's the thing. You also got Calais Campbell on that line. If Walter Nolan can keep riding, they are going to be able to get some more pressures with this D line. You got Budda Baker in the back end, Thompson as a safety. It also looks to me like if he can continue this, they might have found their future defensive end guy, or defensive lineman, run stuffing kind of guy with Walter Nolan. And like you were saying, Jamie, they want, they're going to keep Brissett so they can win, blah, blah, blah. If Arizona wants to keep winning, I think that they need the defense just as bad because they've blown leads in the past. They've led in the fourth quarter 3 times in the past 5 games and have lost. And if Walter Nolan, Calais Campbell, and the defense can hold up and the offense holds their end of the bargain like they have been, then we can get some more wins going, and then they could cause damage later on in the season for the NFC West. All right, let's get right into this trade before we get into the next segment right here. With the context that we have, which is this is all we have right now. I know, Jamie, you asked him who the other tight end is. Trade Fannin and Trey Tucker for Diggs, and the Jets handcuff running back. He has Brees.
Yeah, so he's looking to get Isaiah Davis and Diggs. I don't know if I would do that. Right now, I'd rather start Tucker over Diggs because I think Tucker's actually outplaying Diggs. So
and now with Jacoby leaving,
with the trade, so I don't think I would do this. No, I'm keeping Fannin and Tucker.
Yeah, I'm keeping. I get having a handcuff for Brees when he didn't get traded doesn't help you much, especially if you need to win. So, Fannin with Dylan Gabriel is a playable a fantasy a person you can play in fantasy. Trey Tucker being elevated to the number 1 receiver sounds good, but some guys are better not having all the attention on him, and he may be one of those guys, but I still think he's going to get opportunity.
Raul, do you agree?
Yeah, these guys have it right.
Yeah, I mean it's Fannin. Yeah, I mean, besides the fact that somebody wants to be Fannin's stepdad, it's still it's we all know that. All right, so now it is time for real or fake. Jamie,
Yes.
make me cry in the corner.
So, all right. So, if you started Cam Ward this week or any other week, that's a bummer for you because
God
he
damn
went he
you.
went 12 completions, 21 attempts, only 145 yards, and 2 rushes, 6 yards. Finished with what, like 4.4 fantasy points in the
Hold
league.
on, I got it right up.
I think it's 4.4. So that's a real life loss, and it's also a
Six
fantasy bust.
6.4. Give him those 2
So,
points.
well, in the one league I have, it's only 4.4. So I guess it depends on your scoring setting.
It depends if you get interceptions.
Yeah. So with the bye weeks and injuries that happen, I'm sure you might had to have started him in a super flex for some reason, but you're better off going with like a low end wide receiver that's on your bench, or even like a backup running back flyer, or your backup tight end, someone that can get you more than 5 points, right? Because when you watch Ward on the field, his decision making under pressure, it looks shaky. He's holding the ball way too long. He's missing open receivers. He's forcing throws like into the double coverage, and it just isn't. This isn't just a one-off thing. It's been happening all year. So I looked up. He's only averaging 8.8 points. So why wouldn't you want someone that can score you double digits? And he only had 3 games over 10 points, and he hasn't even went over 14 yet. So he's supposed to be that guy, first round overall pick. But that alone, I don't think is going to keep him starting because we just talked about Murray at the 101 6 years later. But let's look at a guy that was in a top 10 pick back in the day. His name's Blaine Gabbert, right? Similar early numbers, very similar, but Gabbert, he at least had a better touchdown to interception ratio. So Ward, he has more interceptions than he does touchdowns. So to me, it looks like he's walking that same tightrope that Blaine Gabbert did his early career. And that schedule looking forward isn't going to help him with anything because he has that bye week and then the Texans, Seahawks. Fantasy wise, I don't even think you could stash this guy unless you're desperate. But if you need to start him, I don't think he's startable until week 15, 16, and 17, where he actually has a good matchup. But are you really going to want to trust him in the fantasy playoffs? I don't think you can. So, Jordan, I think you're up.
I agree 100%. I was just looking at his stat line. You'd be better off starting a receiver in the super flex spot. Like and they've gone through a coach already. Obviously he was really bad, so I want to try to give him some grace. Still a young guy, but as far as for like redraft purposes, you go pick up Brissett, Mariota, Davis Mills this week, like anybody but Cam Ward, because it's gonna be ugly. Well, he's on bye, but like for coming out with the Texans, no, just keep him on waivers because it's. But that's just been how he's been all year. So it is a real performance. That's what you've expected. 5 touchdowns, 6 picks. Like it's just one of those seasons that you hope is just an outlier and that he comes back next year and you can see the improvement.
All
Hopefully,
right.
he doesn't have a sophomore slump.
He could only go up, I feel like. I mean, his number one weapon, Calvin really has been out most of the year, so that's kind of hampered them. The running game stinks, so it's tough.
So Galaxy Pickers, I'm going to put yours up after Jamie's fake because it's perfect tie-in. Jamie, I've been interested in your fake. I've been interested in where you go with this all freaking day. I almost put my name down for this
We
one.
know why he did this. He's invested still in
No,
No, let him because I'm telling you right now, and I'm warning you. Depending where you go, Raul might be replaced on this one on the spot.
all right.
Go.
So my fake is Kyle Moaning Guy. Yes, that is how you pronounce his name, Moaning Guy.
Yes.
So he came out of nowhere last week. 26 carries, 198 total yards. Swift got rolled out late, and then I just saw like fantasy managers scrambling to the waivers last minute to get him. But don't get fooled by these numbers because the breakout was all about the opportunity he got, not some sudden rise to stardom. He's a 7th-round rookie pick, no draft capital. Like both DeAndre Swift and Roshan were out. That left Moaning Guy as that last man standing, and he handled more than double of what he usually has on a workload. Swift, he's already trending towards a return this week. So once he's back, I think Moaning Guy slides right back into that secondary role. Maybe I'd say 8 to 10 touches max. Plus that upcoming schedule, if you look at it, it's nasty for running backs. You got the Vikings, the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, all top tier fronts. So this is just one of those odd games. The Bears scored 47 points. Odunze didn't even get one. He had 0 catches. And even though Moaning Guy had all those yards, he didn't contribute to that scoreboard. So, look, like it was a fun week for the guy, but that was just more of an injury mirage, not an actual breakout. So I say if you got Swift on your roster, yeah, you can go stash Moaning Guy, but as insurance. If not, I wouldn't waste a waiver on him because this ain't going to happen again.
Okay, Raul, will you tell him why? Will you just smash his dreams?
Are you sure you don't want to take that
No,
one?
no,
Maybe
no. You can go for it.
Kyle M. We'll call him. So both of us could be right. But hey, this is certainly not a Rico Dowdle Chuba Hubbard situation. I don't think the performance of Manungai is going to change the order of which who the lead back in Chicago is, because I'm massive DeAndre Swift hater, and the guy has been playing very well, especially coming out the bye. The run game's been excellent coming out of the bye. That's like the Ben Johnson, like probably his calling card. I will say, Jamie, like the usage is trending up. He certainly had more touches, including a 13 rush attempt game against the Saints. That might have been a little game scripty, but he's been getting mixed in early and often. It's not just he's like coming in for cleanup duty. Since the bye, he's been mixing in from the first drives of their games. It could be at the very best, barring injury. I think he could be on the flex radar in a matchup. Like, yeah, you call out a lot of bad matchups, but next week against the Giants, I think even if Swift is back, Monangai is certainly in play, but I don't think he is going to suddenly become the lead back like a lot of people are really projecting for on Twitter. It's very much matchup dependent and not clearly obviously better than what DeAndre Swift has done, which I will admit Swift has been good this year, so I don't think he's going to be supplanted.
All right, so the only thing I'm going to add to this, because I've been saying this since forever, you brought up that the trends going whatever.
You froze?
Oh, no. No, he's thinking really hard.
Where is the trend going, Mike?
The sage advice.
Raul, you said that you are a DeAndre Swift hater. There's only one person that hates. There's only one person that hates DeAndre Swift more than Raul. Can you guys take a guess who that is? Ben Johnson.
Oh.
He kicked them away from. He's the one that kicked them out of. Helped one of them kicked out of Detroit. I'm telling you, the trend's going up. I agree that yes, he's not going to get all it's not going to be a 90 whatever, but Jamie, we all know that this has partially to do because your love for Mr. Rojo, and we know how that goes. But I do think he's still going to have a role. I think his role is still going to increase, but obviously it's not going to be no WR4 of the week. Yeah, I mean, let's be real here. Chicago shouldn't have won that game. They shouldn't have even been there. But let's get into a couple questions before we go into Jordan's. All right, let's start with this one. And then, Jamie, I'll let you have this one first. Are we worried about a Dunze? If so, are we selling him?
No, I'm not worried. This is just a one-off game.
Blip on the radar, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
worried either. If you can, I mean, it's gonna be hard to sell high after a dud like that. So just hold them unless somebody is trying to buy them and understand. So unless you get a good deal, but otherwise, you shouldn't be looking to sell them.
All right, Jordan. How low can I sell Vidal? I have to move someone for a wide receiver, so I don't have an empty spot this week.
I think with the news that they won't
Mhm.
open Hampton's window until after the week 12 buys you some more time to try and sell Vidal. So he still has value for like the next several weeks, and that doesn't mean that Hampton will be ready to go right after that. So you have about 3 weeks to kind of make it happen. He had the bad game he had wasn't like a Tony Pollard type of game. It was a little better than that. So like you can get decent value for him with the news that like his runway is a couple more weeks. So you should be able to find a decent deal for him.
Yeah, I'm thinking like wide receiver 30-ish. You could probably get
Yep.
like a Romeo Dubes maybe.
Yeah.
Ro, what do you think?
Yeah, not a guy I want to sell low on. I'd rather pick up one of these wide receiver waiver options we're going to bring up later and play them than sell low on Vidal. But yeah, Dobbs is not a bad target. I'll have to see the schedule, but
Yeah.
I think he's going to go back into RB2 status the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, because he's saying that he has to get a wide receiver for this week. So we're going to talk about it something in the waiver wire. So we'll see. Okay, so let's go, Jordan. Let's take it away with your Bob Hope. We will get to your comment after Jordan's. Jordan, take it away with your reel.
Yeah, real quick, Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle has played over 60% of the snaps 3 times this season. And in those 3 times, he has finished as RB1 and RB2 twice. So I'm not saying that moving forward, he's going to be a top 2 running back. But I am saying that once they've committed to him being the guy, that he's going to put up solid numbers, RB2 numbers, high end RB2 numbers when given the opportunity. They did it against the Packers. I didn't think that was a good matchup going into the game, but he ran through them. He was dealing with the growing issues, so maybe that's something to monitor on the practice reports this week. But he finished the game. He scored 2 touchdowns. The Panthers look terrified to allow Bryce Young to throw the ball, so they are looking to run it as much as possible. As long as they can stay in the game, Rico Dowdle is going to be a very valuable. He could be a league winner for some people who picked him up, just because of the way that the season is. The Panthers are actually winning, trying to win, and like not tanking. They have a decent record considering what we expected for them. So moving forward, they're going to be using him. Like I said, he played majority of the snaps. So yeah, I think he's for real. Until they say otherwise, or Dave Canales turns into an idiot, or whatever, or he gets hurt. But as currently constituted, he could be a league winner for a lot of people.
All right, so I had Chuba in the big league with no bench. And so I picked him up, and 2 weeks ago, I had to make the decision, which one do I cut dry? Jamie, I messaged him, and I said, and he's like, that's a tough one. It's it's tight. I would cut Chuba, but it's a tough decision. I'm telling you right now. Thank goodness. And I hate bringing up the Dallas Cowboys. I hate bringing them up, but I have to, because this is exactly, Jordan, what me and you anticipated last season. And would I have thought that this would have been the scenario going to Carolina of all places? No. Chuba is still going to get some of the carries, because let's be real, they paid him the cash, and money is king. And so they're going to give him a little bit of opportunity. But the one thing that I think, besides obviously they're giving him the rock, what you said, 60%.
Yeah, he played 72% of the snaps,
72% of snaps.
25 carries. So
25 carries. They're giving him the ball down, in the goal line. They're giving him the crucial snaps. But the other thing, like you said, you brought up that they're not giving up. They're playing hard. They're not tanking, whatever. You see this guy's attitude on the sideline? I think that's even for Canales. I think that's even a bigger thing for Canales because he needs those players. There's been rumors about, Bryce Young's leadership and this and that. And I think bringing Dowdle on and having Dowdle be that main piece has even strengthened that team as a whole in general. All right, take it away with your fake, buddy.
this is someone else that I've gotten kind of sick of. Mark Andrews, 2 touchdowns, 3 targets, 22 yards. I wouldn't say falling out of favor, but he's just become someone that is touchdown dependent, and I just want to have no parts of him. I don't like he's had. Just looking at, he's had double-digit points 3 times this year. I don't think it's real. The Ravens use different weapons every week. A couple of weeks earlier in the season, Devontae Walker had scored, D Hop scored, Bateman will score every once in a while. Likely's back now, so you just can't trust Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yes, I agree. Pretty much at this point in his career, he's past 30. This is what he's become. Like he's only seeing about 4 targets on average.
Mhm.
That's only a 16% target share. You're not going to be able to trust this guy on a weekly basis. He only had 2 games with touchdowns, right? And if you're not getting those touchdowns, he's not worth playing. And we can't predict stuff like that. I can see him maybe getting another couple 8 target games, but again, we're not going to know when it's going to happen. So I don't even know if I can start him.
Yeah,
and you can't. I don't think you can sell him either.
No, that's the problem. You're not going to be able to sell them. All right, I'm going to bring up a little bit of what Titan said again, just so we can. Then I'll go back to the other. He says he has to get a tight end. He says both of my starters are on bye, and my only healthy wide receiver is JMO, so I currently have an empty spot. I don't have any bench players I can drop. His bench is Ramondre, Woody Marks, Vidal, Monungai, and the Swift owner.
Man, that's a short bench.
That's a short bench, and it sounds like it's probably a start.
And 2 guys on bye.
And it sounds like it's a start 2 wide receiver league. So it's like shallow starting roster. Sounds like it's 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, and maybe a flex.
So it must not be any IR spots because Ramondre should be on an IR spot.
And Swift should.
And Swift too. Yeah.
So you might only have 1.
Yeah.
This might be a casual shallow league where it's only 1. I'm in a league that's got like, let's just say half my team's on freaking IR.
I mean, if it's a short bench, you could probably drop Ramondre this week. What do you guys think? Pick up a receiver?
I don't want to talk about that room.
Yeah.
I don't trust that room, period.
Yeah, Ramondre would be, if I had to draw one of these guys, it would be him.
Yeah, I agree. It's just tough. All right, so Bob, let's do yours, buddy. And then we'll get into, should I drop Bam Knight, for Loveland or Musgrave? Or
that's easy.
Or Rashad White.
Yeah.
He has picks.
Yes, for any 3
Any of them. I'd rather go Loveland.
You're doing it for any of them.
Yeah, yep. I would rather Loveland over Musgrave. And then if we don't know if Bucky's 100% set to come back or not, right?
Yeah. Said. I'm going Loveland, White, Musgrave.
Same.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have real time for this one? Let's go to Galaxy Pickers real quick. Let's see this. It's a longer one, so I'll read it out. I'm being offered Swift, Marks, and Diggs. This was I'm being offered Swift, Marks, and Diggs for Dunze and Judkins. I declined. I said I'd do Tay and
Devontae.
Woody.
I guess Devontae Adams.
Yeah. and Woody for Dunze and Addison, and they declined. Should I just hold back? Hold back. You're 7-1 on Dunze and Judkins. I think when Judkins comes back, he'll be fine. Like everyone said, I think Dunze.
I'm surprised that guy declined that because I would have smashed that in a second to get Odunze and Addison.
It must have been after the game.
I guess so, but I don't know, man.
That's the only way I could see it, right? Because before Sunday's game, I certainly would have taken Odunze and Addison for.
Yeah, I would have too.
Yeah, I don't.
I wouldn't do that as the Dunze owner.
Yeah, keep Odunze. Don't panic on him. You're 7-1. I think you got it in the bag.
Absolutely. All right, Raul. This one hurts me. Obviously, this week. Take it away.
Yeah. Transitioning from the last fake, which was the tight end, to one that I do think we can trust now in our lineups. Start with confidence. I'm going for my real. It's Dalton Kincaid, who is currently the tight end 5 in half PPR points per game. In week 9, he had 6 catches on 6 targets for 101 yards and a touchdown against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's, there are still some questions that, I've certainly pointed to as red flag. Like the snap rate is still really yet to prove that he's a full-time player. We have not seen that yet, but the weekly upside is real. And I think one thing that Jamie and I talked about on our Dynasty podcast is I mentioned that when Kincaid was out against the Atlanta Falcons right before their bye, that offense became really one-dimensional. They could not beat man coverage. It's a lot of guys who do well in short area targets, but Kincaid has really become the downfield outlet for this offense, averaging 15 yards a catch this season. Dalton Kincaid actually leads qualified tight ends, and qualified is just like by number of catches. He leads all qualified tight ends in air yards per target this season, which is kind of surprising to me. This is a guy that, like, when he came into the league, we're like, oh, he's actually like a big slot. He's gonna get those yards after catch opportunities, be peppered short area targets. And then it kind of just became like they have a lot of guys who could already do that. Khalil Shakir is very good at doing that. Like they just kept getting like Curtis Samuel type, Elijah Moore types. Like, where is Dalton Kincaid gonna do what Dalton Kincaid does? Turns out it's down the field on those deep seam routes and those in-breakers, out-breakers. He's doing very well at that. He leads the Buffalo Bills, the team, in targets between 10 to 19 air yards in those intermediate targets. And one big thing is that he's had a huge positive regression in catchable targets versus 2024. His connection with Josh Allen is just way off. Both drops on his part and a lot of targets just thrown like wildly down the field, scramble drill way over his head. He's doing far better in catchable target rate, catch rate over expected. So like I said, just want to finish it like snap rate is still to be proven, but I think this weekly upside is real. In the last 3 games he's played, he had 1, which was a blowout against Panthers. Didn't really need to do much, but then 200-yard games around that. I do think certainly at the tight end position where upside is scarce, you can do a lot worse than Dalton Kincaid, who I think is really proven himself as a strong tight end 1 star whenever he's on the field. He just has that upside that a lot of these other guys don't have.
Yeah, I had given. I wouldn't say I completely given up on him, but I had lowered my expectations for him just because I thought it would happen. It would have happened a year ago or whatever. But yeah, I think he doing this against the Chiefs, and then he's kind of building up a body of work. Some of those plays he had were like wide open. They're either scheming it or he's just able to get open. Obviously, we know Keon Coleman can't really separate and get open. That's just been a struggle. And then Khalil Shakir is doing a lot of the short stuff at the line of scrimmage. So they need that target down the field. And it's like that's him. They're scheming him up for it. And, we want to be attached to a great quarterback. So he seems like one of the top weapons for that quarterback. And I think that it could be sustainable. This is what we hoped he would have been sooner in his career. And I think it's finally starting to kind of play out that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the Chiefs been getting eaten up by tight ends, but I 100% agree that this might be they finally figured it out, hopefully, and especially him coming back after the injury. Well, why don't you take it away with your fake? Because I'm interested where you're going.
You know what, Mike? I'm like kind of I was like psyching myself out. Is this real or is this fake? But let me go with the angle I intended, and I want to call fake on the thoughts that there was going to be a Bashal Tootin takeover of the Jaguars backfield after the bye, the so-called. I mean, it's real, but the post-bye rookie bump. I think those thoughts, I feel pretty confident saying that Tootin is not going to be taking over this backfield, barring injury. First game out of the bye, Travis Etienne had 27 opportunities versus 10 for Bashal Tootin. And here's maybe where the fake comes in, because, Tootin obviously had a rushing touchdown in this game. But 7 out of the 10 goal line snaps were Etienne's. And honestly, the crazier stat was Travis Etienne was tackled at the 1 5 times in this game on 3 different drives, man. Maybe like Tootin is a little bit better, but watching those plays back, it's just like they're going like heavy, like jumbo formation, like clear run, like wildcat with ETN, and he's getting stuffed, and they spread the whole offense out, and Tootin has a much easier way to rush in. And I think Trevor Lawrence had definitely 1, maybe 2 rushing touchdowns. But I think just the larger picture, there's a lot of wish casting that Bashal Tootin becomes this lead running back. Like, he is an explosive player. But for me, both the film and the stats lean heavily in Travis Etienne's flavor. He's making plays happen. He's breaking tackles. He's breaking off much more large runs. I think Tootin has the physical traits. I question his vision this early in his career just to like see the right lane to take around the block and really break it off. He's going to be a high upside handcuff, but I do think he's unlikely to become a fantasy starter without injury to Travis Etienne. One caveat, this is an interesting trend, interesting pattern. Let's see how it plays out. What did the wide receiver injuries do to how the Jaguars play? Because last year on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Liam Cohen, offensive coordinator, had the exact same situation. All these wide receivers injured, and he loaded Bucky Irving up, got a lot of work for the RB2 at that time, who was Rashad White. Maybe some similarities that we could see the overall pie increase in Tootin make his way to that. But I do not think, barring injury, that Bashal Tootin is going to overtake Travis Etienne this year. Etienne has just been better, and there does not seem to be that change in usage coming out of the bye that indicates the coaching staff has changed how they view these backs.
All right, so I'm happy and I'm sad. Because I thought that was the angle you were going to go. Okay? So that was exactly the angle that I thought you were going. But here's the problem. On the bus ride home today, I put everyone's name in, and then I had that last one. I'm like, you know what? I'll just do it. All of my stats that I was going to use was about Liam Cohen, the 1 yard on the ground 5 times getting rushed to the 5. You used everything that I was going to use. So I will say this. I agree with you. I'm going to expand on the Liam Cohen thing because you pretty much said everything else perfectly great, because that's where I was going with it. But with the Liam Cohen thing, I think part of the problem going into the summer after the draft and after everything else was, he has his next Bucky. Mm-hmm. Rashad is going to, and there was already worries even before the draft about Travis because of the season that the Jaguars, let's be real here, the crappy season the Jaguars had last year. There was already worries about Bucky or about Travis Etienne coming into the season, and then they go draft Tootin, who a lot of people were high. He's one of those guys like Bucky that was lower down in the ranks, but people were high on him. Jamie, a lot of the people that me and you talked to in Canton, they were all high on Tootin. All the nerds guys were all higher on Tootin than the consensus. And then you go and you put them in here, and everyone thought, it's going to happen right away, and it didn't. And so they think, like you said, the post bump, buy bump, and all that. He found his next Bucky, but not necessarily. Do I think that there's a chance that Etienne's still not there next year? Yes, we'll get into that. That's a whole nother discussion. But for right now, I do agree with you. This is not the Tootin takeover that some people thought. And yeah, with Trevor Lawrence getting 2 rushing touchdowns, who had that on their bingo card? Not me.
No.
All right, so before I go, let's do this. Thinking of trading Herbert and maybe some fab for Zay Flowers. His buddy already has Johnston and Vidal, so stacking them with Herbert makes sense for him. I'd get Flowers to pair with Lamar and Mark Andrews. Not super flex.
Yeah, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, man. Having Flowers and Mark Andrews. We just talked about Andrews. We don't really want Flowers. You never know. Like, he could get a touchdown, but then he could also not show up. Man, I don't know if I would do this. Can't you get another receiver?
You could probably aim higher with how Justin Herbert's been playing, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he was doing it strictly for the stack, but I do think you could probably try to aim higher.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The good thing is that Zay and Lamar have already had their buys, so you don't have to worry about that. But
Yeah, maybe like a Jalen Waddle. I
yeah,
don't know if the Waddle manager is saying yes for Herbert, but yeah, there's certainly other, like, who was just the Jaden Daniels manager and lost their QB. Like, that's the kind of guy you want to send Herbert. Like, who was like relying on Kyler and then streaming quarterbacks. That's the one you got to target.
Yeah, and this is a non-super flex, so he's not even playing Herbert. That's the thing.
yeah, I wouldn't be focused on stacking for a quarterback like Lamar because he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mike hat is real, and it's
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Ta-da!
Oh.
I've graduated as a top row.
Keep your hands away. I had it perfectly right. All right. I'm just gonna go straight into my reel.
Yes.
So my reel is the Seattle Seahawks, and this changed 3 times during the day. My reel and fake changed 3 times during the day because of the goddamn trade deadline. Not because of you guys. Because I was gonna bring up one player, and then Jacoby Myers becomes a wide receiver in Jacksonville, and I didn't want to go too far. Like, it was Parker Washington. And then there was another player, and it was the other player that Jordan brought up because of the Seattle situation. So that was Torrey Horton. And because I was going to bring up the fact of, I thought, like you said, Torrey Horton with the whole Cooper Cup thing and all that. So, yes, they are not going to blow everyone out like they just did with Washington. But Sam Darnold is for freaking real. JSN had a decent game in fantasy, and he didn't even score a touchdown because they didn't have to throw him the ball in the second half. You have Torrey Horton. Elijah Arroyo scores a touchdown. I can't even think of the other guy's name who decides to run down the sideline and score a touchdown. And I needed him to land at the one and have
I never heard of.
Never heard of in my life.
Cody White, and I had a buddy who bet on Ricky White touchdown. The progression was so funny.
All right, so overall, I think the way this defense is playing, and they didn't trade anyone because there was rumors that Woolen could get traded and Mafe could get traded, and that didn't happen. With the way their defense is playing, on top of the way this offense is coming in, especially the passing game, because Jamie, me and you have talked about the rushing game plenty of times about this because me and you both invested heavy on some guy named Kenneth Schmalker. Can't even say his whole name right now. That I believe this is overall the best offense in that division overall. They don't have the best player because that's CMC. But they can ruin it for others. They're gonna keep doing this. This is not going to stop. And down the stretch, I expect Sam Darnold. I expect JSN to keep going. I mean, this past week, JSN had 18 this week. Torrey had 18 this week. Who else? Where's the other one I wanted to bring up? Oh, come on. Sam had 28. In week 7 he had 10, but he's had in week 2 17, 8, week 3 16, week 4 16, week 5 28, week 6 20. Now he has another 28. He is definitely a top talent in the NFL right now in the sense of being a good quarterback for NFL purposes. He's going to have boom weeks. JSN's going to keep it going. If they can get this running game fully going, they'll be really good. And towards the end of the year, I think Jamie's man, not Jamie's guy, but Jamie's position, I think we're going to see the high RAS player of Elijah Arroyo later on in the year even show out more.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie.
Yeah, so I'm not going to expect Sam Darnold to get 4 touchdowns
No.
often, but I mean, the running backs, they can make up for it, right? Right now they're 6-2, and they are a real threat, man. Like, and I think it starts with the defense. Like, they've been pretty nasty, top 5 in points allowed, second in takeaways, and they forced turnovers in like 7 straight games. So they've held opponents under 20 points in 5 of their last 6, and one of those they allowed 20 points. So, like, that's how you win football games in November, right? Like, you got to factor in also coming up in their schedule. You got the Cardinals, Titans, Panthers, right? So that's 3 more games they're going to win. So I could see them easily 11-6 or even better at the end of the year. So, like, bottom line, like, I think this isn't hype. The Seahawks are balanced. They're confident, and they're actually built for like these cold weather games coming up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now for my fake. Let me go back on camera so I can do this. It's Pop Douglas. Period. Demario Douglas of the New England Patriots. Yes, he has a great quarterback. I said great. I don't care what people say. I know Jamie agrees with me. And for this fact, that's the only thing that matters on that Jamie actually agrees with me saying something that someone's great because he thinks Roshan's still great. And I disagree. But here's the thing. He had 18 points. Yes, he had 14 in week 6, but besides that, his highest point was 7 points. He had right at 100 yards. He had the touchdown. Yes, I understand that Butte might still be injured and might get some more play for DeMario because that's why I believe DeMario actually went off was because Jamie's favorite name of the NFL right now got hurt earlier in the season. But you know who I think is going to get more playing time and more run if Booty doesn't play? Jamie, you know who it is.
Who is it?
Kyle frickin' Williams.
Oh yeah, forgot about that guy. Where's he been?
Vrabel said that he's out. Vrabel said that he's out of the doghouse. Vrabel said that he's actually practicing taking Booty's spot in the lineup so far in practice. So I think, yes, they're still going to target him, but I don't think he's going to get the 100 yards and a touchdown. Diggs, I think, is going to get more involved even then. And then they still rely on Hunter Henry. Don't get me started on the running back room because I blame Jamie for a matchup that I lost by 1.3 points because I played Michael Carter instead of Jennings.
Oops.
He got 0. Oh, God.
1.3. Not fun because I had DeAndre Swift. I had Ramondre Stevenson all get ruled out at the end, and then I had someone on bye. It was not fun. But, Raul, what do you think about Pop?
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, end of last season, there was a little bit of a Drake May, Pop Douglas connection, but I think it's another one of these bets we're going to rely on like a deep touchdown for him to really be like a, not a zero in your lineup. So Kyle Williams is probably one with a little bit more upside, but
Yep.
I wouldn't start any of these guys besides Stephon Diggs in lineups this upcoming week.
Yeah, for sure. All right. It is time for host choice. We're at the hour 15-minute mark, so we're going to march through this. The East Coasters are starting to get tired over there. Jamie, Thursday night, the matchup of the Western NFC West Division. Take it away, buddy.
Yeah, the 49ers versus the Rams. I'll make this quick. So the over-under is 49.5. The Rams are favored by 3.5. And my pick, I think the Rams are going to win 27-23. And here's the fantasy breakdown. So CMC obviously must start RB1. He gets 85% of the snaps, dual threat beast. Rams allow 4.5 yards per carry. So I project 120 total yards and a touchdown for CMC. George Kittle, he's an auto start right now. He usually thrives versus the Rams. So I expect at least 7 catches, maybe 80 yards, and a touchdown. I'm hoping Purdy is still going to be out, so MVP level Mac Jones can start again. This will help the whole offense. So next, Kyron Williams, RB1, I think, this week. Like 49ers, I think they've been giving up, like 125 plus rush yards lately. So I can see 100 yards from him, give him a touchdown. Devontae Adams, definitely start him as a wide receiver 1. He usually owns the San Francisco, right? So 10 targets, over 100 yards, and maybe 2 touchdowns. Like, I know it's saying a lot, but I can see it. And then Puka, high upside. I know his ribs are sore, but he's still explosive. Rams said he could have came back in on Sunday, but they were just being cautious. So I'm going to give him 6-7 catches, 80 to 100 yards on those 6-7 catches. Matthew Stafford, man, QB1 streamer, I think. He's efficient. First 49ers, give him 250 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not going to start Juwan Jennings. Maybe a flex at best. I know Ayuk's still out, but Pearsall might return, and I think he'll split targets if that happens. So right now, I'm going to stack these Rams for DFS purposes. They all got high upside potential. So give the Rams a revenge win, first division rival. They're on, a 3-game win streak right now. They haven't lost a game since they played the Niners. So, yeah, I said in my prediction, 27-23, give it to the Rams.
All right, Jamie. You're done for the night. Okay, Jordan, Jamie just talked about a division matchup. Your crystal ball kind of has to do with a division matchup, so take it away.
Yeah, I think, we talked about the Jags, and, Trevor Lawrence is getting another weapon in Jacoby Myers through the trade deadline, but I think he's going to struggle. The Texans' defense is nothing to play with. They've basically made quarterbacks look bad all season long. On the flip side of that, though, I think that Davis Mills, who's looking like he's going to start this week with C.J. Stroud being out with a concussion, I feel like he's going to have success on the Jags defense. The Jaguars have allowed, I think they're like top 6 in allowing pass yards per game. Davis Mills came in and was connecting with Nico Collins, which is something I liked to see this past Sunday. So I think he can kind of build on that. Trevor Lawrence, don't start him if you can help it. Stay away from him. But I do think that on the flip side of that, the Texans passing offense will have some success this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said. I'm having to play Davis Mills in a league. So, yes, please. All righty. Raul, it is time for Boom or Doom.
Boom or Doom.
Your boom is a bunch of kitty cats. Take it away.
Yeah, it's a bunch of kitty cats in week 9 that just rolled over and asked the Minnesota Vikings to just come and rub their bellies on a warm day. Hey, Mike, you're the one who set me up like that. I had to lead into the bit, but
I set you up. You didn't have to turn into Jamie for 30 seconds.
the Detroit Lions, whichever way you want to cut it with our words, whichever picture you want to paint, did take what is going to be a pretty gut-wrenching loss at home to a division rival, Minnesota Vikings. A game that, a lot of turnovers. Like it was really a smash and grab. And what we've seen from the Lions this season is when they lose, the next game becomes an absolute offensive explosion. So I'm honestly, I could see this be like a 45, 50-point game, like from the Detroit Lions as they play the Washington Commanders, who, just lost their franchise QB likely for the season. And the defense is being, everyone's having their way with them. We just talked about Sam Darnold, 4 touchdowns before halftime. So I think this could be a kind of game where like Amon Ra 2 touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs 2 touchdown. Those are kind of bets that you could be looking to play. But certainly all Lions could eat in week 10 against the Commanders.
All right, and who is your doom?
Who's my doom? Those who are looking at the Google Sheets would probably have seen that I had quite a tough time picking my doom this week. But I'm going with Justin Fields, who was a surprise start in week 8. Was it? We thought he was going to be benched, and then turns out Tyrod Taylor was not going to play. So this is Fields if he starts, which we don't have the answer to. I kind of think they have to give Fields another shot after leading the Jets to their first win of the season, but today, we did just see the Jets tear up the defense, which cannot be a ringing endorsement for anyone currently in the building, unless your name is Garrett Wilson. And now they play Myles Garrett and the boys. So we've seen Justin Fields score 30 points or 3 points, and I think this is going to be a 3-point game. So if Fields does get the nod to start, I would look to avoid him and not expect to see one of those explosions, which we know is in his bag, but this is just going to be a very tough matchup. I could see the Browns, force a lot of turnovers and have short fields that hopefully Quinshon Judkins profits from. But Justin Fields is going to be my doom for week 10.
All right, so your doom is Justin freaking Fields and the lovely Jets who decided to blow up part of their team. All right. So speaking about blowing things up, I'm about to blow things out of the water here because there's a certain thing that I am going to rant about. Let's do this. Rant of the week. So boys, and yes, I'm talking to the boys on the right side of my screen right now because they were here for all of last year. There was a certain offensive coordinator last year that I don't even know if it was last year. I think it was the year before even. There's been a certain coordinator for the last 2 years that we have not liked. Would you guys agree that there was a coordinator that used to be the coordinator for a team in red and black, who is a coordinator for a team in black and yellow now, that we made fun of maybe every week on the show?
Correct.
Yes.
I'm aware.
So when he left, what did we say? We said it was going to be better for Kyle Pitts, Drake London,
Yes.
and all those guys. Okay? Drake London had 3 touchdowns. So he had a good game. But I am still upset because Raheem Morris and the Atlanta Falcons, you thought you were going to get away with not getting made fun of this year. Well, the rant of the week has come for you because Arthur Smith ruined freaking Kyle Pitts with Jonnu. He ruined Bijan Robinson with Tyler Algier. Now you're just ruining Bijan Robinson with his usage. And I blame you. Because look at this thing. All right, I got some stats now. Okay. If you go to rushing attempts percentage of the team, He was drafted like the number 1 or number 2 running back in most redraft leagues. So he's at 55.7% rushing attempts of his total team snaps. He's the number 16th ranked running back, boys. 16th. Barely behind him are guys like J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne, and Jordan Mason. Guys in front of him are guys that should be, but then there's guys like Tony Pollard. I don't know if he should be. But then you go to receiving, and you go to receiving target share. He's at 18.9. You go to route percentage. Who do you think is number 1? It's an obvious one, right? Route percentage for running backs is 77.1%. CMC. Bijan is at 71.7%. In my humble opinion, and I'm not right on everything, they're not using him right. They're using him too much in the passing game in the sense that not even throwing in the goddamn ball as much as they need to. Yes, he had 13 points this week, but he is not he's not a top running back in fantasy like he could be because they are not using him right. I'm going to keep it nice and sweet and short, but Raheem Morris, if you don't knock this off, you're going to be mentioned in the words of dumpster fire and poo-poo in the next few weeks, sir. What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I was looking. You're using his half point PPR stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, full PPR, yeah, he's a little bit better because he has been being used a lot in that passing game. He's still the 4th RB overall.
But he could be number 1 if they just gave him a little bit more freaking yardage.
True, yes. Yeah, they do need to get his usage up. And, I mean, if you take out that 5-point game, what was that, week 8, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, week 8.
I think we'd be talking a little bit differently about him.
I mean, this week he only had 13 in half point.
Yeah, so it's 17 in full PPR, but still.
I will say about this week is that the Patriots have shut every running back down. So I think
it's Vrabel.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be worried, but I am mad at Raheem Morris as well.
Yeah, it's well, it's just what gets me about it is real quick is the fact that we thought everything was going to be solved by one individual leaving.
Yeah,
and it's not. All right, so let's put the guys to work real quick, and then we'll get going. All right, go ahead. Use the promo code GF2 in capital letters if you are a new user in Underdog. In the offseason, right after the Super Bowl starts, best ball, if the Super Bowl whistle blows at 6:30 Eastern time, Jamie will be in the draft at 6:32 p.m. Eastern time, and you might be in the draft with him. Hires and lowers in all major sports. Now you can even pick on winners on certain sports. Go ahead, use the promo code GF2 and get up to $1,000 in bonus bucks. It is time for the cheat of the week, which is our good old waiver wire players to pick up. Jamie, who is your waiver wire, sir?
It's Alec Pierce. He definitely needs to be on your waiver radar. You might be asking, well, aren't they playing the Falcons and they're great against wide receivers? Yes, but Alec Pierce eats against single high coverage. He's pulling almost a 30% target share in those looks. So now he gets Atlanta, who runs single high more than anyone in this league. He just dropped 115 yards on Pittsburgh in that same type of coverage. So don't wait. Grab him now before he cooks again in week 10. Hopefully you guys already have him, because last week in my matchup Mania, I talked about him. So you might have picked him up already. Go ahead. Feel comfortable. Use him again.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I used him I had him in a Underdog pick him.
Nice.
Jordan, take it away with yours, senor.
This week is a pretty good week for waiver wire, but I'd say Colston Loveland is somebody. We talked about him earlier. He's emerging as a top target. Cole Kmet went down last week, and even before he went down in the game, Loveland was playing most of the snaps. Then he started getting targets after Kmet went out. But I pick him up. Parker Washington as like a bonus just in case as well. I'm not as high on him, but still he's worth the
Yeah, for sure. I wish Parker Washington was available in half my leagues.
ad.
Raul, take it away, dude.
Yeah, and turn it over the QB position if you need one, not just for this week, but someone with the potential to contribute down the stretch. Look no further than JJ McCarthy, who, after his soft benching, talked about pretty heavily. Like, I was surprised to see that he could come in and be not just a competent quarterback, but one that could lead the Minnesota Vikings into a huge win away at the Detroit Pussycats, I think Mike calls the team. But JJ McCarthy, we can see him do it with his legs, which we love for fantasy football. He threw just the one passing touchdown in the last game, but Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Kevin O'Connell, right? I think the upside is also there in the pass game. Even if they're going to be a little more balanced than with Carson Wentz, I think JJ McCarthy is certainly going to be a strong QB streamer. And bringing it back to week 10, they play the Baltimore Ravens, which should be a high upside spot for JJ McCarthy. So you need a quarterback. I'd take a chance with JJ McCarthy here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. I'm about to promote him on a dynasty roster because I need him and I need the win. So might as well do it now if I haven't done it yet. Great show, guys. Like always, good to talk football with you boys. Let's throw it around the horn and we'll get on out of here. Raul.
Yeah, awesome show, guys. Like I said at the top, week 10 or week 9 rather, got my momentum back, got me out of the trenches of that midseason slump, and really just reinforced by another great show with y'all. So good luck in week 10, and thanks to all our viewers for checking us out. Great show.
Get those waiver wires in. Start trying to make some trades as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some of these guys that I put claims in, and looking forward to seeing how everybody's week. We'll talk about it next week, see how everything went. Keep it going.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been mostly real painful, but hey, we made it.
All right. Sometimes I wonder why we even let this guy have a microphone at his own house. All right. It's been a great show. You guys know where to find us all, and you know where to find me. For Raul, for Jordan, and for that guy that sometimes I like,